What's up, everybody? Back with another video, and today we're doing our first league race. This is the North American Rookie Series league race hosted by Octane Online Racing. And I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to the folks who signed up for this to make it possible, especially the folks who took the time to steward this race live. But today, we're at Kyalami. And as you can see on the screen here, we are going on my one and only valid qualifying lap. And if I was to put this race session into one word, it'd probably be bittersweet. Just because I think there were some things I could have done a lot better, and there were some other things that were out of my control that unfortunately kept me from, I think, getting a much more satisfying finish on this race. But by no means did I not have fun. I had a blast, and despite everything that happened in this race, I did all right. I was actually pretty satisfied with it. But yeah, this track is very fast corners, very awkward corners. So it definitely was a challenge, and I put a lot of time into this track. Usually my delta, or my pace, is about 4 to 5 seconds off of the top driving deltas you typically see. But with this one, I spent enough time to where I was sometimes within 3 seconds of that. So in this race, going back to the bittersweet thing,
know how to make the MFD for the
there was some
go away. I can't make it go away.
There was some pace left on the table.
You'll have to check your button binding.
So in the background, you'll hear a little bit of
I'm doing
people talking. Those are the race stewards, and they typically are just dealing with incidents they see on the track and also answering a few things during the sessions leading up to the actual race. So coming up on the final turn here, and we are going to get a 144.3. which ends up being good enough for 9th. This was my only lap that I was able to complete. Unfortunately, in this server, I guess in the server, you can't actually overtake people on valid laps, even if they're going slower, and just the spots that I was in, unfortunately, I got held up a little bit. But at the same time, on the lap I was able to complete, I actually ran with a fuel load basically for this whole race, instead of dropping down to about 15 liters and saving myself
follow the widget position, guys.
Crucial
people slow in front of you, just
tenths of a second there, potentially. So kicking myself after that, but 9th isn't that bad. The field is pretty large. I think it's 30 plus racers. So
did you hit drive, or did you?
We're going to get started here.
And fallen too far back.
I wasn't even moving. It just immediately put me in fifth.
You hear someone in the background, I think, having some issues, but we're off and away. And the first thing I want to do, as always, especially with a race this long, is just get to that first turn. And once we get through, if we get through,
let's keep it quiet.
We just want to get through the first lap and just let the race kind of space out. So first turn successful. Don't see too much in the back there, but we're just going to try to keep it tight, avoid contact, avoid having our race ruined and having someone else's race ruined. So as you know, the last video I had a race cam view in the corner. I don't have that right now. It'll be back in about, I think, 10 minutes into this race, or yeah, I'd say about 10 minutes into this. We're gonna have it cut up a little bit, so a little less than that. But yeah, I guess there's a threshold on how long the replays can last in this game, so only found that out after and changed that to 1 hour and 15. So next time around we should be able to see this just fine. But getting a good run on the Honda here. Not quite going to get there. Get a little bit close, so I go around the wide on the side. Just trying to avoid contact again. We're just trying to get through this first lap and just stay up with the higher pace drivers. This turn's a bit awkward. You see a lot of wide lines taken, but there's a guy right next to me on the outside, so we're going to keep this tight inside. He goes a little bit deep, so we're going to hold that position, and we're going to go through, in my opinion, the most treacherous turn in this whole thing, because it's kind of a sharp little corner there. You can take it pretty fast through there, but that curb on the inside is just will absolutely punish you if you take that corner too sharp there. Prefacing things that happen later in this race. But as you can see, we're already starting to create a gap on the folks behind us, so lose the rear end a little bit there. And that's kind of one of the other things, diving into why I felt so bittersweet about this race, is because all this practice time that I did, and in this race, I don't know if it was just the day, I don't know, but I lost the rear end a lot, and it cost me some time, which is unfortunate, but
24.
that comes with time and understanding of
Copy,
the vehicle
24.
and doing a better job with the setup. And the setup is something that I'm very basic on right now. Fuel loads, tires. Been messing with the anti-roll bar a little bit, but still a long way to go to understand how to set up a car nicely. So I tend to stick with just a few changes, a few simple changes from the basic aggressive setup that's provided, which are good enough to race with to begin with. But as you can see, the NSX took, he lost control of his car there, and so we're gonna get a freebie there. Ferrari head goes a little bit wide, but he's gonna stay on, keep his spot, and we're right behind this other McLaren here. Let's see if we can get there. So our last lap there was a 1:45.7, so we're starting to climb as the field separates. But ideally, I want to be in the 1:44s for most of the race. And if possible, get into 1:43 territory. That would be me at my best pace on this track. Took me a long time to actually get there. I know that's slow for some of the better drivers out there, the quicker drivers, but for someone who has my skill level and people in this lobby, a 1:43 is a great time. It's very fast for newer drivers. We're going to try a little bit wider line here. Hit the apex pretty nicely there. It is a little bit late is how you want to do it. But staying with the group nicely. Leader hasn't gotten too far ahead. You know, we're still on the same straight here, which is a good sign that our pace is not too bad. We cross the line. We're finally in the 1:44s easily. But we're going to skip ahead to lap 6. It's just really a lot of trailing this car up to that point. But we're going to go around this second to last hairpin here. And again, we lose the rear end, which is a theme that I can't seem to evade for the entirety of this race, unfortunately. But we lose some time here. We're going to have to make it back. You see we're in 8th place now. I think maybe we passed a driver there. But I guess I should mention in case, since I already haven't, this is a 45-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. The only thing that we absolutely need to do is change tires. And as you can see, the pit window is now open, and I believe it is open up until the last 5 to 7.5 minutes.
Second number 21.
So pit stop has not been something that I have done a lot. I've mostly just done sprint races in public lobbies and in the LFM lobbies. And it definitely brings a new dynamic because there's a lot of room for mistake there, especially in a league like this with lesser experienced drivers. So important to get your line right, your braking point line, and also get into the box just right. But there's a car on the track, and he changes direction last minute, and we slam right into him. I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't a little heated from that. But at the end of the day, this is a rookie league race, and mistakes are going to happen, and thinking otherwise is just unrealistic. No hard feelings to the guy. He did apologize at the end, and, you know, it is what it is. But in that situation, when you spin out on the track, you're going to want to hold the brakes. Cars drifting back because of not holding brakes are pretty much what causes these huge pileups and stuff. But luckily the pit window's open, so we're going to pit now as we have damage on the car. I definitely felt it going through the turns that it's just not where it needs to be now. Luckily for us, the time required for the repairs and the tire change is only going to be 50 seconds, which I don't know how, because typically when I take a spill like that, it takes several minutes. So lucky there. And this race is far from over. Now, are we going to catch the leader? Absolutely not. But in this moment, I'm pretty much just, hands are off my wheel. I'm just cooling down, taking my hoodie off. Just trying to reset my mind, because like I said, I was a little heated at the moment because I was running an okay race. And as you can see, we've got the race cam back at this point. You can see the hood's kind of popped up. I was told that McLaren's pretty...
That was my fault.
Pretty delicate compared to some other cars. Either way, we hit the guy pretty hard, so no avoiding any damage there. But yeah, he came up high on the track, and so I went in the inside and he drifted back. And I don't know if he purposely drifted back or if he just didn't hit the brake, but really just wrong place, wrong time, and we're just gonna have to stick it out here. But luckily for us, as you can see on the little track map there on the left, it's only just this one back marker, and we've got a lot of open track.
5.
And pitting before most of the guys at the front, I think is really gonna pay off well. With all that space and they're fighting it out and everything, we can just push. We can just push, and though our pit stop was unfortunately a bit longer than what we need to from just a simple tire change, I do kind of think that we have a chance at somewhat of an undercut, in the sense that I think we're going to be able to gain a lot of time back. I think our pace was pretty good compared to most of the drivers, at least top 10 in this league. Not sure why on that coming out of that pit that driver was going so slow there, but yeah, a little dicey getting by that red. I think it was a McLaren there earlier. But we're about 15 seconds off 20th place, but there's still drivers that have to pit. So
Yeah, 30.
and there are drivers with damage on their cars. So let's see how far we can get back on this track here. How far we can climb back up. And again, kind of with my last point in my video with Watkins Glen, just being smart, assessing the situation well, staying out of trouble, not making moves that potentially could risk your race, and bottom line, being somewhat consistent. It can get you pretty far, and as you can see, we already got 19th place from a pitter. We're going to skip a lap again. We're going to get back to 18th. And again, we're going to go on the straight to lap 11. Gain a lot of positions there. We're down to 15th. And now we're coming up on the 12th lap. And we're going to get some more spots here. But really just a lot of open track in racing, so not too much to show you there other than making some passes on players that still have not pitted yet. But as you can see, the Lamborghini goes in for the pit. So we're going to gain that position, get into 14th. And I think this lap, yeah, we jump up a few more. All the way to 10th place. So we are just one position behind where we started. and only 4 seconds off of 9th place. So we are getting into a lot of lap traffic now too. And hopefully as the drivers ahead of me keep pushing, they run into some lap traffic. It's a good opportunity for me to catch up. I do think my pace is fairly strong at the moment. If I can just keep running 144s, I think we're gonna do just fine. But lap car in front ends up spinning there. I don't know if he took the curb too much there, but that inside curb on the beginning of that S is really dangerous if you take too much of it. But as you can see, there's a good number of cars ahead of us there, so we've got some spots to take. Not sure if these guys have pitted yet or not. Hopefully that's the case. Would definitely benefit me, obviously. So far, so good on taking that corner there. Looks like the Ferrari pitted, and not sure what the blue car was doing there, the BMW. I don't know if he was just trying to get out of the way, but he took that very deep, cut across the line, but luckily I was just enough behind to kind of just dive in underneath him there. But we're in 8th place now, and we're 1 spot ahead of where we started, so at this point, we've recovered our race quite well. And there's potential to grab more. There's a lot left on this race right now. We still have 18.5 minutes. I think that's about good enough for, let's see, 10 to 12 more laps. And with the repairs done and a fairly open track for the most part, we've definitely got time to make up. And for now, I think the leader's in the pits as well. So at this point, I don't think there's going to be too many drivers ahead of me that are pitting. Another thing to watch out for too as well is I did earlier get a track cut warning going across. I think it was the last corner there. That straight is very important to get a good run out of that corner just because that's the longest straight in the game. So lots of time to gain taking that correctly.
Or I'm sorry, 89.
Copy 89.
But as you can see, we lose the rear a little bit there. So the run out on this turn is not going to be the best, but we're still going to retain pace at 144. And actually, this is going to be, I think, the fastest lap at 144.0. As we skip ahead to lap 18. And another driver that took a spill there, so we're gonna pass the Porsche there. We're gonna jump into 6th place. And I think when we cut the video there a little bit ahead, I think I got another position from the pit. So there was one more driver I passed. And we're in 6th place. And only 4.6 seconds off of the 5th place driver. A top 5 at this point is what's realistically in reach. And if we can just keep staying consistent here, we're going to get closer and closer, and man, a top 5 would feel amazing. So we're going to skip ahead to lap 22. And we are definitely closing in, as you can see. He went down from basically 4.6 seconds, and now we're 2.2. So we've got some pace, and we have, I think, just enough time to make an overtake on him, or at least try. But we got to stay consistent here. Only 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. Still kind of sliding around with that rear. That wasn't too bad there, but You get caught up here. A back marker actually takes a spin. Takes, I think, the gentleman up in with the BMW. I think it takes him a little off his line more than me. I think I gained just a little bit of time there. But there are more back markers ahead, and it's a possibility for me to catch up if he struggles to get around them or he's at the wrong place on the track at the wrong time. I think in this league, we treat the back markers as like an F1 race. So they, according to the stewards, should be about 4 corners. They need to have they need to get out of off the racing line within 4 corners to allow the pass. So and as you can see, they're kind of bunching up there, and he's gonna have to take not so wide of a line there. That's gonna cost him a little bit of time. Still just about a second and a half off. Get a better run through this turn. So we're still closing, and another driver kind of loses the car a little bit as we go around the red McLaren there. Still about a second and a half off, but we're catching them, and we've got about, I think, 2 to 3 laps left. Come around this turn here. Cut it too sharp. We hit that curb, and exactly what I had prefaced before. Take ourselves off the line, and this is just a mental error. And I'm trying to. I didn't realize that the car had just completely shut off there, so I had to restart it. It cost me some valuable time. And pretty much out of the question now is 5th place. And very concerned at this point because we've got damage on the car, and it's just. You can kind of slightly see it in the race cam. The hood's a little bit popped up. Said that it had some rear damage as well, so the aero's not going to be as good, and I kind of almost felt like maybe there was a little bit less downforce on the car. But we gave up a lot of time, and we did have a nice gap between 6th and 7th place, but that cut down from, I think, was it 17 to 20 seconds, and now he's only 8 seconds off. So at this point, there's no reason to be pitting to repair the damage. The race is almost over, and pitting's only going to hurt us. The car is drivable, so at least there's that. But there's just that concern that the car's got damage, and 7th place is going to be able to get enough time on us. And so at this point, it's just drive carefully and take the car home, get it home. I don't know if 7th place made a mistake, but he was sub 8 seconds, and now he jumped back to 8. 8.5 actually. So we're just looking to get this home. Want to make sure we drive carefully around the back markers. So far they've been doing a great job getting out of the way completely. Still not entirely comfortable passing them. I think some areas they get a little bit unpredictable on trying to get off the racing line, so it's something to definitely get comfortable with. But so far, other than that, the race has been good. But yeah, just it's unfortunate that I binned it like that. I think I could have had a really fun battle at the end for 5th place, but you know, it is what it is. You know, there was things out of our control there in this race, but a lot of it that was. And so I think just something to look back on and improve for next week, for next week's Rookie Series race. But as you can see, we are on the last lap. Leader is about half a track ahead at this point. He's had himself a great race. He's coming around actually on the last corner on the straight, so congrats to him. And there is a back marker there, and normally I would expect him to get out of the way, but at this point I'm not even worried about passing him. I'm just worried about getting this car across the finish line and just solidifying my spot with 6th place. But as you can see, seventh position has caught up about a second, a little more than a second. But at this point, there's no way he's catching us unless something bad happens again. So we go down on the straight, and we're going to come across the line. 6th place, another great recovery. Started in 9th, fell way back just due to the incident that was unfortunate out of our hands. But we climbed back, made a consistent race, and 6th place isn't bad. I could have done a lot better, and things could have been more fortunate, which is why, at the end of the day, it just feels a little bit bittersweet, but can't complain too much about a 6th place spot with a large grid like this. So yeah, overall, pretty good race. So if you guys enjoyed this video, stay tuned for next week. Every week I will be having a Rookie Series race, and next week's at Watkins Glen. So I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.